I'm making this little video at the request of Samaritan Hospice. I've been in your care for about 6 months now, since July. Oh, 6 months. So Dr. Goldfein, that means we have to re-up because I didn't die yet. I've recently done the math on my journey with stage 4 lung cancer, and I don't know why I didn't ever figure this out before, but from the day I had my very first symptom until the emergency room, because I never made it to the pulmonologist appointment, was 12 days. I had to do an emergency thoracentesis, and if that technology didn't exist, I don't know how long it would have taken me to die, but I was already in the emergency room, not able to breathe, 12 days from the first symptom. So really, I'm very grateful for the technology. I've done thoracentesis, and I've done Pleurax. Pleurax is better. And so mostly this is a story of gratitude. My first contact with Samaritan was actually Helen DeLuca from the insurance company. And she called one day like she had nothing better to do all day long than talk about anything I wanted to talk about. And oh, by the way, would I like a free consultation with a medical director of Samaritan? So I said yes, and I met with Dr. Goldfein. He made a very good first impression by not mincing his words, because the first thing I wanted to know was, why did they offer this consultation for free? The man drove to my house and spent an hour with me. This is very expensive time, and I'm not a bookkeeper or an accountant or anything, but I know that was a really expensive visit and it had to be cost effective. So anyway, he gave me the right answer, which was to acknowledge that there are so many people who are getting healthcare that they don't want that it pays the insurance company to see if you might be interested in palliative or hospice care. So either Helen DeLuca and Dr. Goldfein are really intuitive, or they're really well trained about snap judging a patient's level of tolerance for authenticity, because they got it right with me. Whatever you do to nail that first impression, you got to get it right, and keep on getting it right, because when somebody just finds out that they're going to be dead soon, like, you don't get much of an opportunity to clean up a bad first impression. My impressions of Samaritan Healthcare and Hospice are really a collage of the people that you've sent to my house. So that includes Stephen Goldfein, Courtney Rich, who's my nurse case manager, Sarah Miller, I've seen Patty, I've seen Lacole. I apologize, there are a couple of other weekend nurses in there. And most recently, the art intern, Stephanie. I would have to say the impression that you make is that either you have a really high level of job satisfaction, or you're very gifted at subterfuge. From my point of view, loving what you do, coming across that way, is the best possible sales pitch for hospice care. Here's another thing that you have to nail. My satisfaction with the care of Samaritan has less to do with accepting what you think that you offer, and more to do with getting on board with what I think I need. Comfort was definitely not my first priority. Until I get up to extreme pain, my priorities are number 1, brain function, and number 2, self-determination. Let me tell you a story about Courtney. So one day I told her that we're going to figure out everything that I need to do in order to get through a day without help. And I said, Courtney, I do 40 deep knee bends every day because I never want to have to use one of those toilets that rises up and meets you halfway. So you can see I get winded pretty easily. My little exercise routines has to have some very pragmatic reason for being there. So Courtney comes in one day and I say, Courtney, get down on the floor with me. Hold down my feet. I want to do some sit-ups. See if I can do some sit-ups because, like, you know, I've got this catheter thing going on. I've totally lost my core tone. And still a little bit vain about it. So anyway, Courtney got down on the floor and held down my feet. Well, she said, nobody asked me to get down on the floor and hold their feet. So I got my sit-ups in. Even the art intern, Stephanie Underwood, got on board. Instead of making a sales pitch for what she thought she was there to do, she listened and she explained art therapy to me. Well, I've got a master's degree in counseling. I'm like little Miss Counseling Psychology myself. So I said to her, well, I'm not interested in that. What else you got? And then I thought of a suggestion right away. I am not at all artistic. I'm more of a verbal person, and I'm at a time in my life where, except for agony, I admit I will want to be spared agony. Anything I can do to increase my sense of meaning and purpose, that's what I want the most. So I said, how can we use art to bring me closer to my sense of meaning and purpose? And we came up with the idea of collecting things in nature to make pine cone bird feeders, because I've been an organic gardener my whole adult life and I can't go out in nature anymore. Nature has to come to my windows. So Stephanie helpfully got on board with that. I had been cut off from life as I knew it, like working 60 hours a week and feeling very robust. Remember, this was a 12-day process for me. So my next project to increase my sense of meaning and purpose was to do an art piece that would help me with this video series I've been making related to helping people find their portals of entry into death conversation, which is very different for each person. So we did it. I told her the concepts. She came back with ideas about how to execute it in art. I also told her that, just based on my experience with counseling and very client-based or patient-based work, that it was very important for me that she be having a really good time too, just like it's important for me that the hospice nurses have a high level of job satisfaction, because in the client role, I feel like the workers, the nurses, the art therapists, whatever, the chaplains, need to be having a good time too, or the process as a unit, we aren't working together. So all in all, I have very high level of satisfaction with respect to the hospice experience, but it isn't because of sorry, it's not because of what you think I need. It's because the people that you sent to my house gave me what I asked for: holding my feet to the floor, making the videos, making pine cone bird feeders, and loading the morphine syringes so that the moment I change my mind, I'll be ready to go.